I'm fine with that. Because there's a lot more things you could accuse me of or charge me with or made up or bullshitted that it's a lot harder to get, to deal with than somebody saying, oh, so you just voluntarily give your kids the state? That's what the state of Alabama says? Okay, they can believe whatever they want. They know and I know exactly what they did. I wouldn't sign paperwork to get Medicaid and Social Security for that kid, and it was going to be who knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, because the kid only weighed 2 pounds 9 ounces. He was in that hospital for either 4 or 5 months. They're like, oh yeah, really? Oh yeah, really? They're like, no, you don't have legal custody of this kid. I said, is that what you want to bet? You want to bet? I just love it, man, when people say to me all the time, man, everybody who calls up my shows, everybody, who doubts me, I go, oh, you want to bet? Just like this ridiculous guy on the internet all the time, with the Jeffrey guy, that Doe's guy. He's like, oh, you haven't had custody of your kids in years. Really? Says who, pal? Says who? Like, you know the case? You got access to the case file? You read court orders? Or are you just, like, spreading hate, and you just really don't think I have custody? Because I said I do, but no, Carl, you don't. Oh, really? How did I lose legal custody? Oh, well, you must have lost legal custody. The state of Alabama had your kids. Yeah, why? Because they said I voluntarily gave them.
Okay, so that's Carl's version of what happened in Alabama. Now, normally, we would have to take his word up for it. But luckily, in 2006, Karl asked his mother to file a lawsuit in federal court against DHR in order to get Karl's kids. And in it, Karl's mother tells us the real story of what happened in Alabama. Now, this is from Karl's mother's lawsuit, and she wrote it in her own handwriting, which is very good handwriting. So let's read. On December 4th, 2003, I was part of a conference call with Lisa, blah, blah, blah. During this call, I was informed that the court date for August was to be continued. I also spoke to Brian, and I was told the same information. The TPR scheduled was postponed. However, DHR did continue on that date to file a report for the record with Judge Storm. Contained in that report were false allegations that the plaintiff observed incidents of abuse between Karl and Mary and did nothing. That the plaintiff was also allegedly aware that Mary was put in a locked car trunk behind the farm and was in fear for her life. These allegations had been discussed at an ISP held 11/2003. By the way, notice that Karl's mother does not mention anywhere that Karl refused benefits for the Down syndrome child. Now, maybe Karl's mom got it wrong and it wasn't a domestic abuse situation. So let's go look at some papers that Karl filed in 2012. This is a safety plan which Karl submitted as an exhibit in his 2012 federal lawsuit. Now, as it says right at the top, a safety plan must be made if there is a level of high risk that has been determined on Part B. Now, the very fact that there was a safety plan made in the Karl Lentz case means that this was a domestic abuse case. Now, on page 2 of the safety plan, we see identified risk factors by DHR, which reads, baby will be at risk of being exposed to physical harm due to the domestic violence between mother and father, namely Karl and his, ex-wife. Now, to the right of that, it says father to attend Anger Management Domestic Violence Prevention Center, or CTR. On the third page, you'll see child will be in home grandmother and be in a safe environment away from domestic violence. So what's the conclusion here? The whole story of Karl losing his children because he didn't accept benefits because they had Down syndrome is a lie. The reason for the children being taken by DHR was because of allegations of domestic violence. Now, maybe those allegations are not true. Maybe the wife made it up. But the fact remains that that was the reason for him losing custody of the kids.